Canada's real estate rules that went into effect on December 1st, Colleen. So what has changed?
So there has been a major overhaul that all realtors throughout the province of Ontario are learning very quickly. Mm-hmm. So as of Friday, we moved from REBA, which was the Real Estate Brokers Act, to now Tresa, which is changing the way that customer and client services work.
Okay.
So where we are at now, we are increasing the professionalism as well as the expectations of what is expected from both the realtor as well as the client.
Okay.
So those are actually expanded and accepted. And so the other thing, and I bring with me, as a lot of people know, I don't work with paper, this guide came out as of Friday.
Very new.
Very new. Very, very new. And it is a 13-page guide that everyone should and has to read when they enter into an agreement with a realtor.
So this is for everyone. It's not just for the agent, the realtors, the client. If you're selling your home or buying a home, should look at this as well. It's just as important for them.
It's compulsory.
Okay.
So it's compulsory. So it's 13 pages, and it goes through what the expectations are on both sides. And then the last page, you actually have to sign.
That was going to be my next question. It's there going to be a signature required, like what we see online. It's like, have you read? Do you agree to everything in this document?
Yeah. So it's really to understand everyone's role in a very legal position. Because Stefan, if you were to hire me to, have your next $1 million house.
The next one, like I have one already.
So it's really to put parameters as well as expectations on both our sides.
Okay.
What can you expect from me? And also, what can I expect from you?
Right. And that's fair. It sounds like, I know you, I have other people who work in real estate. It sounds like that is a fair approach to bring, because sometimes, as much as you know your business very well, perhaps that client you're working with has some false expectations from you.
Well, and when we go into a meeting and saying, hey, Stefan wants to buy that $5 million house from me, is the fact that we go through this. And we want all realtors at a certain point create a line that is similar, and then so we're raising the bar. So Tresa, which is as of December 1st, is taking real estate, and I love this actually, taking real estate to a new level.
Okay.
And so raising the bar, taking it to a professionalism where all realtors have to explain what the rules are, what the expectations are, as well as what you can expect from us, because that is what this guide does.
Very new, but also what you need to know is the differences when it comes to designated representation. Language like that is what you really need to be abreast of.
So before, there was a little bit of confusion. So you used to be a client, which is pretty clear in the fact that you're a client of mine, and I have full designation with you. Yet now, so that's a designated representation. Yet before, we used to use the terms client versus customer.
Okay.
And customer has been removed from real estate words.
Okay.
So designated representation is not something new within Canada, yet it is new within Ontario.
Okay.
So understand that when you were a client of mine, you were a client of the whole brokerage.
Right.
So you would then be, if I was part of a brokerage that, let's say, had 500 people in it, and there are some really big brokerages out there, you were going to be in multiple rep with everybody in that 500 brokerage.
That pool, yeah.
So your information could be shared with 500 agents.
Oh, okay. And were clients abreast? Did they have knowledge of that? Did they realize?
Well, that is why this has been created.
Okay.
So designated representation now is the fact that, Stefan, you can choose me as your representation and not the $4.99 behind me.
Got it.
So that is our representation versus now we go into, instead of customer, we have self-representation. And they have driven, Tresa strongly has driven a line of what self-representation is. If you choose to buy a home and not through me or anyone at TrinityStone, I am not allowed to help you in any way. So you have to be able to manage your paperwork, figure out if there are any zoning rules, figure out and navigate through possible multiple. I am full stop, not even allowed to give you even comparables.
Okay.
So there is a full stop on self-representation. And so for those who choose not to work with a realtor, and again, I strongly, and as long as I've been doing this show, the audience knows you should have representation.
Right.
So as a designated representation, you are now not with a brokerage, you are with that individual. And so when you are signing your agreement, whether it's a buyer agreement, listing agreement, you can choose whether you want designated representation with me, or do you want brokerage? And I'm simply giving examples for the audience. Do you want me as your agent, or do you want TrinityStone as your agent, or do you want self-representation? So now it is clear how you are being represented, and there will be an additional schedule, as we refer in legal terms, that you have to, as however you decide, that your services to our audience will be very clearly lined out and spelled out on Schedule A or B.
Right. This may be an unfair question so early in learning and becoming familiar with these new rules or designations, but do you think that realtors would push one way or the other to have designated representation? Does it change how they work with their own brokerage in terms of what they do for kickbacks or fees or the commission they share with the brokerage?
Yeah. So kickbacks are illegal.
Yeah.
So
Sorry, wrong term.
Yeah, exactly. It's more of transparency and making our audience more aware of what we are going to offer them, as well as their expectations of us, as well as my expectation of you. So it is, Tresa is actually creating more clarity,
right,
and the fact that it is more transparent, and the transparency of Tresa now is amazing, and we are going to see a higher level of professionalism for people and our general audience. So I'm really excited about Tresa.
Yeah, and it sounds like it's good all around, a fair competition. Everyone knows where everyone stands and what the rules are very clearly stated out, and you sign off on learning about it.
Yep. And now that we also have a big thing about Tresa, and we can go into this further at another time, but we now have open bidding. And open bidding is allowing people to know, if the seller decides, is the fact that you can know what the other offer is, you can know what the deposit is, you can know what the closing date is. It is up to the seller to decide if they want to do that.
Right.
So open bidding is now allowed so that there might be more competition. What does that mean for the buyer? It means for the buyer they can decide if they want to be part of the open bidding or not. Yet now we have open, transparent bidding. Price, closing date, deposit, anything that the seller wants to disclose that's important to them, they can choose that.
Awesome. Colleen, thank you so much for being with us. And let's talk about this more when you come back, because it's very interesting. I want a copy of that myself to study.
There you go.
All right, Colleen Lyle with TrinityStone Realty. And if you want to reach out to Colleen or